What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Gran Turismo 7. So in this video, we'll be looking at the Zonda R and the Autodroma D Interlagos. I think I said that right. But regardless though, this is probably one of my most favorite sounding cars pretty much ever. The only thing about that though is you're most likely not going to be really listening to it when doing this race, at least, probably because you'll be focusing on it. Before this though, with my settings, I am going to be running manual transmission and 0 on TC. Now, I would say people can argue that maybe having one or two or even three or something might help a bit, but I have to admit, guys, having all of these on 0 really does make you a better driver. I do know some cars are probably going to be insanely annoying to drive, but I would recommend actually trying to do it because it will make you a lot faster in the long run. Now, I did want to mention a couple of things about the Zonda R I feel like will definitely help you in this event. Number one, though, you're probably going to notice with no TC on this vehicle that, yeah, it does actually like to slide a bit similar to something like a Mustang. I'm not saying it's going to be nearly as bad as a Mustang, but if you are driving something like the Formula car from the last one, then yeah, driving this car is going to be a surprise though. When you are driving this thing, I would recommend keeping this thing in a higher gear, but do not be afraid to max out the RPMs in it. What I mean by that is, yeah, going around a turn, try to get the most power out of it, but shift up. Try not to slam it down when you are maxed out RPM because the car is going to slide around a bit. I was noticing in some places I was fighting it, but once I was practicing with my overall throttle control, I got way faster with this thing. As I did previously mention in some of the other license videos, when you are driving this car, downshifting when you are in that corner, let's just say for example, you are approaching the first S turn in the beginning of this race. When you are going toward that turn, you might end up approaching that said corner in third gear. You're like, yeah, I can do it. But if you downshift in the second while in the middle of that corner, you can get around that said turn tighter. In the middle of that turn, once you do get around it, put that car back into third, power into the next turn. You can also downshift if you have to, but do not be afraid to downshift into a lower gear. That way you can get around certain corners even tighter. I mean, heck, in some of these turns, I was even going down into first gear and then immediately shifting into second once I realized I can get around it. I would then power out of that corner in a higher gear. I would keep shifting, that way the car doesn't like fishtail or anything like that. So it is definitely going to be an art, man. Now, I would say the Zonda R is a great car to drive, but if you are coming over from something like the lovely Mustang or even something like the Formula vehicle, this thing is probably going to take mild practice to get used to it. If you guys have any questions at all, do let me know in the comments below. Here is going to be the gold run I got here on one of my favorite tracks with the Zonda R.